Hello and welcome to how I play my level 120 Mage. And I feel like this is the best version of the Mage I have made yet. I think there's like 2 or 3 other how I play my mages at this level on this channel already, but I've optimized and changed and changed. This character is playable with a one key repeating button, and let's get into it. So we got spells. We're going to talk about the hotbar down here. We're going to talk about how I have my extended target set up so that you can kind of get an understanding of how that is going. Let me set this real quick. I didn't set roles when I logged in. There we go. All right. We'll talk about how I have my extended target set up in this. These characters are multi-box, but you could definitely apply this to a single character and get the same results. But let's go ahead and start here. So the very first spell I have memorized is Twin Cast. This allows any of our spells that we cast during the 18-second duration to be cast twice. So you get double damage. It's really nice. Next up we have Rolling Servant. Rolling Servant is our synergy spell. If we go here to the AA window and Conjurer Synergy, whenever you cast, whatever the current servant is, you get a 100% chance to trigger the Conjurer Synergy, which is a what is that? 100 or 75% extra damage on a spell. There we go. And I believe it's triggered based on fire or chromatic. So, depending on your classes, you may or may not trigger that, right? Like I have my wizard specifically casting it and stuff like that to have a fire nuke to trigger that on him. But you have to cast this pretty much on cooldown to keep this buff up for everybody else in your group, increasing their damage. Next up we have Barrage of the Many. This does a bunch of damage depending on the amount of pets that are attacking it. Now we have one pet by default, the summoned mage pet. I use an air pet just because I like it. I don't really like the water pet as much for the way I play, but the water might be more DPS if you can micromanage him, but I don't really care to do that. But based on the amount of pets that are attacking, when we do, let me see here, do I have a combat dummy that's, they're all, I couldn't find the higher level ones, so I think this one here, this is 105, that'll work. All right, so if I cast Rolling Servant on him, right, there's one, there used to be more. I guess you only get one now. You get that one pet, plus you get this pet, right, that gives us 1 to 2, gives us that damage, 3 to 4, so on and so on. 7 pets. I'm boxing a Shadow Knight, a Shaman, a Beast Lord, so I get a lot of pets going out at the same time. So the damage will vary on this spell significantly, but it is a nice spell to cast. Next I have Chaotic Calamity, which, see here, strikes the target for 53,000, and then it gives us a chance to do something else. But you can see here the chance, 25% chance to do Flames of Power, 35% chance to do Refreshment, 10% chance to Twin Cast, so on and so on and so on. Definitely going to cast that on cooldown. Now, if you look here, right, it's a 5-second cooldown, so that's perfect for what we're doing here. Next up, I have Spear of Molten Lucanite. This is just a huge 73k nuke here, right? Let's just go ahead and cast that. And you can see, boom. All right, we got a lot of things. We got a lot of damage there. So Hammer of Magic, that's my weapon that I'm holding. That did 108,000. There we go. We got a lucky twin cast critical on Molten Lucanite. That is a 1.2 million damage from a 73,000 damage base. And then the twin cast did 219 damage, right? So that's insane amounts of damage. So it's a nice one to get in there. Now it is a what is the cooldown on this one? 10-second cooldown. So you can see there we got another lucky critical, 720,000 damage. Next up I have Carbonite Malosinatra. Now I only cast this spell for the Mallow portion of it. You see here, it is a, you know, multi-second recast time, so it's perfect. This ensures that I get mallow on every single target while I'm nuking, because sometimes my shaman, who also has mallow, does not have the opportunity to do it. So this just ensures that I get mallow on every target. It also does a 26,000 magic nuke, so it's kind of a nice little extra bit of damage, but the damage is not what I'm looking for there. Next up, we have Scorched Skin, which is it's a 14,000 point damage shield that has a few strikes on it. Right now, I use this on my tank right here, Hobbs, and I have this macroed into this one, so it's number 7, cast 7, and then later on we cast 12. That's a self buff, but it's so that we can, you know, here we just go ahead and cast it right now. So Scorched Skin, Hobbs gets his damage shield, which you know, every time he gets hit, it does that. And then Restless Symbiosis is our self buff, and I just keep those memorized at all times since it is a box. Otherwise, I would set up the macros that I do for most things. Then it summons a Mod Rod. Also, it's just a nice little convenience macro there to save me time. And like numpad 7 triggers all my characters to cast their short-term duration buffs. Next up, I have Molten Columnite Orb Summon. So this is a item we can click on. Now, I thought there was an upgrade to this, but I couldn't find it. So there could be a new spell for here. I'm just not 100% sure. It's not a big deal otherwise if you can't find it. It might be in the Night of Shadow spells, or it's in the Outer Brood spells. I don't know 100% there, but I haven't gone there to look yet. So what this does is summons this little orb that we can click that does 23,000 damage for 10 charges. Now, here, let's just target the target dummy, right click that. You can see there, and it's a 10-15 second recast time, so that's pretty nice. It is in my use item right here in my assist button, so every time I assist, I will do that. Since it's a use item and an instant cast, it pretty much goes off at all times. So I just gotta make sure that I come back over to this character and resummon this orb every 10 casts or so. And, you know, typically it works out pretty well, depending on how it goes. Next up, I have Gather Vigor, which is our current level harvest-like spell. It takes health from our pet, converts it into mana. We get 23,000 mana back. I feel like mages run a little low on mana. With especially the way I play, I don't really stop the med or anything like that. So my mages are really pushing it when it comes to mana, you know, conservation. Plus, her gear is not that great for a level 120. She's wearing 115 gear, so something to consider there if you don't have the best gear. Next up, we have Elliptic Companion. This is our current level progressive ability. We started getting these at 105. This one's just the current level one. I believe at 121 there's a new one with the Outer Brood, so we'll have to go pick up that. But this increases, you know, all the damage of all the pets, heals it for a bunch. It's just insane, and it applies to all pets, so it's pretty good. Next up, we have Group Call Hero. Like, one of the reasons I run a mage is that it is Group Call Hero. I can summon all my characters to any spot I want, like right here. Like, literally, they're right there, and now they're right over here. The convenience of this is so important to me as a, you know, as boxing, because I don't have to worry about positioning them perfectly. I can get them to the general spot or run one character to wherever I need to, summon them all, and wham, bam, thank you, bam. I don't have to worry about running them through some of these terrible zones that have terrible pathing. Autofollow doesn't work very well. So it works out pretty well for me. And that's, you know, I will pretty much always have a mage in most of my groups because of that, just to save time. Next up, I have Relentless Symbiosis. This is just another mana regen ability. It takes, you know, energy from the pet and gives us more mana regen. Mana regen, mana regen, mana regen, mana regen, right? We're currently at 1245 mana regen without a mount. With a mount, we're at 1288. So it's almost enough, but it doesn't. We need to get a little bit more to really be able to handle some of the spells we're casting now, as we're still in lower tier gear. At 125, or no, 120, we can actually move to different gear. I just haven't upgraded our gear yet. And then finally, I have the air pet. I use the air pet. I like the air pet because it stuns, and it does stun current level mobs, right? They stop attacking for like 1 round. And I find that to be very valuable in the way I play, because I don't really need extra damage. I'm running a wizard, a mage, a beast lord, a shadow knight, a shaman, and the mage, right? Like it is a high DPS group. I mean, I think I can get into like the millions when I'm really trying, like 2 to 3 million. I think I got even higher once, but it's definitely like I don't need the extra damage from a pet, because the pet's not even the majority of my damage, right? It's my focus is on making it smoother for the group, right? And that means, you know, running a pet that can stun. This pet can also tank. I've had it where Hobbs dies and this air pet just finishes off whatever we're fighting, right? Like that is pretty much how strong this pet is. I've never really put any effort into the water pet, because early on when I tried it, it just died faster than anything because it just wasn't strong enough. And I feel like this is, you know, a better pet for me, but you know, your mileage may vary, so just keep that in mind. But that is like the normal 13 spells I keep memorized at all time. There are a few other spells I cast, like our Arcane Distillect, which is our aura, which gives some bonus to the pet. I think it's like 5% extra damage to every pet within range. Then we have our damage shield. Our current damage shield is, I believe, Emberweave Cloak, so I always want to have a damage shield on at all times. Yeah, Emberweave Cloak. You can see right here, 6,500 damage shield. And so the way these little buttons work is, I just target myself or anybody in the group. I click the button. It will memorize a spell, wait 50 seconds, cast the spell, wait 50 seconds, and switch back to my group spell set. So it's just all about setting up spell sets and easily switching those around, right? Another thing I do, I cast Ice Flame Barricade on the pet. Let's go ahead and just do that now. I don't know if it's what the refresh is on there. This is a 119 spell. It is cloaks the pet in a Ice Flame Ward, which deals 30,000 damage to anybody who attacks it. So he gets a damage shield. And then every time it gets attacked, it gets a 8,500 proc plus a prism skin, which blocks the next 2 melee attacks. So it makes him very, very tanky, in all honesty. It's a very nice spell. Obviously, those numbers are kind of low for the content we're fighting, but it still makes sense, right? And then next up, we have Burnout 15, I believe it was. Like, this just keeps going up. Burnout 15, we get this at 116. This is just the pet haste, right? Like, it gives 185% pet haste, 325 attack, 47 AC, and 85 strength. Definitely the ideal pet buff right there. Then let's see, what is this? This is my earring. I just, you know, shrink my pet, right? Nothing fancy there. All right, so the important thing to understand about this build and how I play it is that it is 100% based on the multi-bind. If you don't know what the multi-bind is, the Everquest client allows you to bind multiple hotkey buttons to the same button, right? So you can see here, all my hotbar buttons are bound to 4 and 5. Like here's 5, oh no, these are all bound to 4 and 5, right? Whatever the first one is here is what shows on the button. So if I hit 4 or 5, anything that is bound to those buttons has a chance to trigger. And typically it goes in order of the situation right here, right? Like it kind of goes like this from left to right. That's the way I feel like it goes every time I've watched it, you know, just spamming the button and how it goes. But that's left to right how it goes, right? I have one macro here in this whole thing, which is X target 19, pet attack, use the orb, use the mod rod, and then pet swarm. So if I have swarm pets out, which I will once I start pushing the button, they will all start activating. So that's kind of how this works. you'll see this in action here. I'm going to start pushing only the 4 button. I'm going to turn off every other character, so only this character attacks. We're only pushing the 4 button. So rolling servant. So it's like these AAs, they kind of stagger a little bit like that. You can see like they've all activated down here. Turn summoned is in here, but if we're not fighting a summoned mob, it does nothing. You can see all the little swarm pets. You can see, let's see here. Barrage of the Many is, I think, getting resisted. It's not a great spell, but you can kind of see here, like everything's going on. All the swarm pets are attacking. We've used charges from our orb. Once that refreshes, we will, there we use it again. There's a timer on that. 8 seconds on that to go. We use the mod rod too, also, so you can see that. Hammer of Magic is our sympathetic cast from our weapon. Ideally, we want to be like this. In all actuality, you want to be meleeing while you're doing this, right? So you can see there. It's not a whole lot. Like there's a 17,000 crit for that. Now, if we go to other melee, you're not going to see any of my melee hits, I don't believe, because the way I have it filtered. But yeah, she probably can't even hit it. But whenever you swing the weapon, you get a chance to proc, and you want to get those proc chances. These Hammer of Magics here. You can see how much damage that's doing, right? This character also has Jane's Veil, so she gets an extra, proc when she's doing melee damage too. So definitely a powerhouse when it comes to getting things done. But you can see my mana is draining significantly. And all I'm doing is, the whole time I've been talking, I've just been pushing 4 as fast as my finger will let me. I'm just up and down. You can kind of hear it through the microphone maybe right there. It's not too fast. Like, I just push it up and down. So that's kind of like how it works. And we'll talk about the order now. So let's just let them... So first up, I have this macro here that kind of sets everything up, gets me the target. X target 19 is my main assist target, right? If we go to Hobbs, right, this is my main assist. If I target that, you can see on his window it popped up right there. If we go back over to 20, right here, it's already populated. So it's like an instantaneous assist, and we can just go like this again, and everything works, right? If he changes his target to anything, I will change my target instantly. So it saves me time. It's all built into the client. There's nothing external targets or extended targets here. Just makes things easier. So it's convenience. So that gets the target, tells the pet to attack. Pet, first thing I do is pet on there, pet attacking, right? Because that's going to benefit our of the many line of spells. We're going to do our 2 clicky items, and then we're going to send all the swarm pets on there. Ideally, I'd probably want to put the swarm pet here and then that down there, but that's just not how I typed it out, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's 1 extra cycle. And then we go into our things. We got host of elements. This is a swarm pet. This is 3 little level 118 elementals. I don't think they're up right now, but they're out there attacking, right? So that gives us more pets attacking the creature so that we get more of the many damage. Then we go into rolling servant. Then we go companion. I do servant first so that when I do companion, the companion buffs the servant, right? Then we do twin cast, and then we start our nukes. I do of the many first, then I do spear, and then I do carbonide, and then I do chaotic. And then we go into Companions of Necessity, which right here is just another summoned pet to distract the enemy, right? It's just another more junk on the boss, right? Then we got Force of Elements, which is an AA nuke for 34,000.1 second cast time, 20-second recast. We just throw it out there. I have turn summoned. Turn summoned will only activate if it is a summoned creature, right? I'm afraid to right click on this guy and turn him into a summoned creature because it crashes my client half the time. But summoned creatures do exist. There's the same thing for like an undead thing for paladins and clerics. So It doesn't do anything if the target's not, you know, the right one. So just throw it in there. 300,000 damage, 650,000 damage. It's a fantastic ability. And then we have Servant of Ro, which is a 116. I think it's a fire elemental that attacks and does 120,000 nukes. It's insane. It's nice. It's a 9-minute reuse. I do it on cooldown. And then here at the end, we just have another pet swarm button because I was testing something to see if it worked. But that's the multi-bind. That's pretty much like the bulk of everything I do. Now we do have burns, so let's take a look at this. Silent casting is the first thing in my burn here. I have burn 1, 2, and 3. I don't know how populated 3 is at this point, but silent casting lowers our aggro. Heart of the Skyfire increases our damage significantly. Spire of the Elements increases our damage, increases our group members' damage significantly. Improved Twin Cast gives us another Twin Cast for 20 spells. Forceful Rejuvenation, anything that's on cooldown gets reset. So, except for Twin Cast. So, any of these that are on cooldown will get reset. So, like, let's take Gather Vigor here. Let's cast that one. And what's another one that would be on cooldown? Companion, right? So, because I'm constantly spamming all these buttons, and when I need to burn, I need these abilities up. So if I do Forceful Rejuvenation, boom, both of those abilities are back, and I'm ready to go. I can gather my mana again. So it kind of resets the board for some abilities, making it so that we can start really pushing out the damage from where we were, right? Next up, we have Burn 2, which is Focus Arcanium. Which just improves our resist modifier by a significant amount. Focus of the Thaumaturge, which, there we go. Thaumaturge's focus, I guess, increases the base damage of our spells by 66 to 76% damage, and increases our critical chance. Insane damage, right? And then we have Frenzied Companion, right? Where is that one? Archetype Companion. Where is it? I don't know why I don't have it right here. Oh, it's right here. Frenzied Burnout. Companion's Fury. I think this is the same one, right? 160. Yeah, 60. So this just makes our pet like crazy. 920 attack power. 50% chance to make critical. Increases the damage by 330%. Just makes the pet a little monster you don't want to deal with. Next up, we hit our robe. Our robe currently does a lot of things. Allows your pet's next 8 to 8 bashes or backstab. So if it's a water pet, or if it's an air pet, or a earth pet, it will do Companion's Assault, which is a 117,000 nuke. So 8 of those, that's, you know, almost 1,000,000 damage just clicking our robe. And then we click Blood Drinker's coating, which I truly don't know why I do it, but I do it. It's just something I had in my bag from when Tuani was a monk, and it gives us a kind of a melee life tap, because I try to melee as much as I can, but it just depends on the boss and stuff like that. So it's like free healing if I'm meleeing. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. And then Burn 3 is empty except for Intensity of the Resolute, which is a 20% damage increase. I will be moving that to glyphs. I just don't have the extra AAs at the moment to buy the extra glyphs and stuff. I haven't putting it. We'd be getting Glyph of Ultimate Power. It's 40 AAs expendable, so that's where I would put that in Burn 3 when it's ready there. All right, so that is my multi-bind. That is how I do it. That's my burns. That's everything there. Gear wise, at 120, the best gear you're going to be able to get is Lorien's Song gear. Right here, I got a few pieces on me right now. So this is the Lorien's Song robe. This is the tier 1 robe you can get. Let's compare that to my COV tier 3 group gear. If we go like that, it's a 2,300 increase in hit points. 32 spell damage, and it increases all the other stuff. So definitely that's where I'm going to be going. I'm going to probably buy a full set of that and get her all kitted out in that gear for our push to 125. But that's, you know, that's the best you can get besides raid gear. I'm not like this. I don't raid, so I can't like say, because raid gear is about 30% better than the current tier, right? So like the current tier raid gear is 30% better than the group gear that you can get. So you're going to want a two-handed staff for that proc. As you saw, that's going to be the best way to go there. You're going to want to focus. I already have the Valorian Song arms. You can see here the focus on these is 105 to 120. You're going to want the best arms you can get. I think it's this character. Is she the right character here? Hold on. Steadfast Resolve. Oh, one of my characters has. One of them has the Lorian Song raid arms. I don't know which one it was. I think it's Nomergard, but his stuff's somewhere else. So the raid stuff's, you know, obviously 30% better, so it's significantly better than this. But you want to kind of get those and, you know, get the best gear get. If you're on FV like me, buying the raid arms is probably your best investment. The next one might be the helmet, because it's going to be magic based, so that carbonite might do a little bit more damage, but the other ones are a little, you know, not as effective as the arms. The breastplate obviously is going to increase your pet damage for those 8 attacks, so just depends on, you know, what you're looking for there. Clicky wise, other than that, the only thing I have is my unified Phoenix Feather. That's the only really clicky I do, which just gives everybody, you know, a bunch of buffs. It's kind of like a mini Paragon, if you will. So that's about it, really. Check here, yeah. So everything else is pretty much set there. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I play my mage. We're going to be doing a group video once I do the wizard video, where I take everybody and we show the parsing of like the numbers, and you can see who is the number one in this group. And if you want to take a guess on who's the number one character in this group damage wise, it'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are. I've done them for the last few levels. I do the group video, and we see the parsing and all that, so we'll see what who's number one when we get there. But that's how I play my level 120 mage. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. If I missed anything, please let me know, and I'll pin the comment down below if it's worth commenting that I missed something. But this is how I do it. There's obviously different ways you could do it, but this is what works for me and the way I play. So thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.